in the heart of a bustling upscale restaurant called River and Rye, where elegant chandeliers cast a warm glow over polished tablecloths. A young woman named Nana Carter stood behind the bar, a plate of uneaten dreams on her tray. Life had a way of throwing her into the deep end, and the truth was she was drowning more often than not. Most days felt like a battle juggling shifts that stretched too long, and a mother's illness that weighed heavily on her heart. People would look at her, perhaps see the apron and the smile, but rarely did they see the storm beneath one she had learned to keep hidden. They'd whisper those familiar words, "You're just a waitress," as if those three words could define her worth. And in the quiet moments, late at night, she believed them. When she helped her mother to bed battling exhaustion, she often let doubt creep in, questioning if she'd ever amount to anything more than a life spent serving others. But then, on a seemingly ordinary evening, everything changed. Along came a little girl in a wheelchair named Lily, who for the first time looked up at her with curious eyes and spoke. That unexpected moment of connection lit a flicker of hope inside Nana, even though she didn't yet know that Lily's father was a billionaire with the power to change the course of her life forever. What followed was a journey between hardship and hope, a story of resilience that began to unfold in the unlikeliest of places. A simple restaurant where dreams felt foreign, but where fate was about to intervene in wildly transformative ways. I remembered the exact day everything went south. It started like any other shift, the clinking of silverware laughter from the affluent patrons, and the faint scent of truffle oil wafting through River and Rye. But there was darkness brewing beneath the surface, especially with Mr. Green lurking in the back eyes like a hawk waiting for any slip-up. "Nana," he barked as I clocked in. "You're on the back section today. And remember, don't go playing nursemaid to those tables like you did last night. We can't afford that kind of distraction." I gritted my teeth. My heart sank knowing he'd seen me with Lily, how effortlessly we connected. Instead of fueling my resilience, his jealousy only stoked the flames of my anger. That evening, as I was clearing tables, my heart was still buoyed by thoughts of Lily. "You have real potential," I wanted to tell her. But then, "Hey Carter." Mr. Green called, his voice dripping with disdain. "Get over here." I approached, squeezing my fist at my side. "Is your head in the clouds?" he sneered, eyeing the mess at my table. "If you spent half as much energy on your job as you do playing therapist, maybe I wouldn't have to babysit you." I stood there, incredulous, disbelief churning in my gut. "It's not babysitting. It's not my problem." He cut me off. "Just do your job. You're lucky to have it." Anger surged through me like a wildfire. I felt small, belittled like a ghost in my own life. I imagined the heavy burden on my shoulders, the weight of my mother's illness, and yet here was this man diminishing me down to nothing. But deep inside, I pushed back against the tide of despair. I wasn't just a waitress. I had aspirations, dreams of wearing scrubs and saving lives. I clenched my jaw, wrestling with the line drawn in the sand. I had every right to aim higher. In that moment, I did something I wouldn't have thought possible. I took a breath, held my head higher, and thought of Lily, her bravery shining like a beacon of hope. It was time to stand up, not just for me, but for her, for all of us who have been overlooked. This would not be my ending. It would be the spark for my resurrection. You know it's funny how life has a way of throwing more mud in your face when you're already neck deep in it. Just when I thought things couldn't get worse after that dinner with Lily, they did. Picture me late nights at River and Rye juggling plates like a circus act while my dreams of med school felt like a pathetic balloon slowly deflating. Each shift wasn't just a test of endurance. It was a masterclass in frustration. And let me tell you, Mr. Green had a PhD in belittling. I swear if I had $1 for every snide remark he made, I could have paid for a whole semester instead of just dreaming about it. Then there was this moment right around the time when I was feeling completely knocked down, where I thought, hey, maybe Daniel's here to help. And there he was watching me all wide-eyed, like he'd walk in on a highway robbery, only to realise, no, this is just what happens to a girl scraping by. He approached me and I was like, is this the moment where I get rescued? Spoiler, it wasn't. Mr. Green, with his laser focus on power plays, decided I should just keep scrubbing the same old floors. And of course, every time I got ahead, the universe would yank the rug right from under me. I began to doubt everything, my worth, my decisions. Even my ability to carry an entire tray without spilling a drink all over someone's lap. It felt like jumping hurdles in a mud pit and I was running with lead weights chained to my feet. But somehow, through all the setbacks and the eye rolls from customers who barely glanced at me when they didn't get their avocado toast just right, there was a flicker of that fighting spirit left in me, like a stubborn little ember refusing to go out. Sure, I could have curled up in bed with a pint of ice cream, the classic go-to, but instead, each challenge was another excuse to dig in my heels a little deeper, fueled by a resolve that said, enough is enough. This isn't the end of my story. Something shifted in Naina that day. She stood facing Mr. Fern. Green, the chill of his words still hanging in the air like a bitter fog. Every taunt, every belittling remark replayed in her mind, a relentless loop. You're just a waitress. Her heart raced, battling despair, and something unknown, a whisper of defiance. Look closer. The thought crashed over her like a wave. The humiliation, the late nights, the aching hands. Who had she become? In this oppressive space, with trembling hands, she felt something ignite within her, a flicker of hope flickering brighter than all the doubts. I am more. Daniel's voice echoed in her ears, offering a lifebuoy in her stormy sea. You deserve better. Those words were a lifeline. The restaurant, once a prison, felt less like home. Each clattering plate a reminder of what held her back. I resign. The words hung heavy in the air, their weight lifting her spirit. Silence enveloped her for a moment, shocked disbelief. But then a fierce joy surging through her veins. She clasped her fingers around the notion, the belief that she could be free. The wait is over. She could step into light, embrace it. The path ahead was misty, uncertain, but she felt the pulse of resolve quickening within her as she reached for her future. Medical school. The words danced in her mind like fireflies. With a deep breath, she took her first steps towards that flicker of a dream brightening with each stride. The world had cast her aside, but she was done waiting. This is my moment. From brokenness came strength. From darkness she would rise. Unstoppable. As Naina stood in the gleaming boardroom of the Bennett Foundation, the sunlight streamed through the glass, illuminating her determined expression. She had spent months immersed in her new role, reshaping not just Lily's rehabilitation, but also her own life. The board members, dressed in sharp suits, leaned forward as Daniel spoke, his voice steady and filled with conviction. It's not just about physical recovery, it's about empowering them to dream again. Naina understands that journey better than anyone. As he gestured towards her, something stirred within her. The room, once foreign and intimidating, now felt like a sanctuary of support. A future painted in vibrant possibilities unfolded before her. She could almost hear the echoes of her past, the late nights serving tables, the harsh words of Mr. Green ringing in her ears, haunting but now tame. She wasn't just a waitress anymore. She was a bridge to a brighter future. When the Foundation's executive director turned to her with a sly smile, extending his hand for a firm shake, it felt like the culmination of every struggle she had endured. Instinctively, she tilted her chin up, meeting his gaze with a quiet confidence. This victory was hers. It wasn't simply about revenge, but a testament to her resilience and hard work. As the headline flashed across the screen in the meeting room, Bennett Foundation launches new rehabilitation program, led by emerging talent. Naina felt a quiet smirk touch her lips. She had done it. Yet, as she glanced out the window, watching a child ride past on a bicycle, she felt the weight of her scars, the memories of battle woven into the fabric of her success. This journey had changed her, but it hadn't erased the past. Instead, it had given those scars purpose, a reminder that every step forward was built on the foundation of her experiences. She wasn't just surviving, she was thriving, ready to help others forge their own paths. As we close the chapter on Naina's journey, it's impossible not to reflect on the myriad lessons etched along the way. Once relegated to the sidelines of her life, she learned that power doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers softly, yet irrevocably. Through her struggles, trust emerged, not merely as a distant hope, but as a living bond stitched together by shared pain and healing. The greatest irony, in her moments of deepest despair, she uncovered that revenge is a hollow echo, while the quest for justice rests in personal empowerment and connection. Did her worth lie in the harsh words of a manager, or did it flourish in the kindness of a little girl, an unexpected friend and ally? Naina chose the latter, embracing the hard-fought truth that vulnerability is sometimes a greater strength than retaliation. In a world that often rewards ruthlessness, is it not controversial to ponder, can true justice ever be achieved without kindness? As Naina moves into her future wrapped in the warmth of possibilities and purpose, we're left with a vital question. Is revenge ever justified, or do we find our greatest victories not through retribution, but through lifting one another up? Join the conversation. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments. Let's explore how our journeys intertwine, and remember, the way we treat one another echoes much longer than our fleeting moments of power.